court concerning the matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth... I have no idea, Maya. It makes no sense. Who knows? He probably realized she did it too. But wasn't he the one that said that he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that, Edgeworth. Something going on in Edgeworth's mind. Wonder. After finding the body, I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, and then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're close. Real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. After finding the body, I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. Press. Hold it. You asked to be left out? Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned, and I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. Down with that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They are nice enough to understand that since we were in a meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you. Or covered it up for you. There must have been a lot riding on it with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. I guess I love it. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Press harder. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Then why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. Who would think of rehearsing after that? Oh, yeah, I guess. Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please continue. Wait, what? Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Think. Miss Vasquez said she didn't bring her script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio One. Oh, Edgeworth. Helping us out, I see. Order, Mr. Edgeworth. What you have just said is responsible observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I have a perfectly good reason to believe that there would be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. Hang on. There's something kind of wrong with that. I think, if I remember right. Do we have any evidence though? Grr. Okay, I'll just press because I don't think we have evidence. Hold it. How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal, the director. You have to find something to peg this... words. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. Was it Sal no bag? Blah, blah, blah. Don't need any of this again. It's just this one last statement. I've got to do this. I've got to figure out. Why can't I remember? Girls. Pierced by your chest. Breaking his leg. Ha! That's how she knew. You knew that Hammer was injured. Don't you think that's a little funny? I completely glossed over that. Hammer wasn't injured. Haha. I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer's dragging his leg in this photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person injured on the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. He must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez, you heard Hammer wrong, or you saw Hammer limping? When I said the Hammer the first time, I meant Mr. Manella. Whatever. Me and reading aloud do not mix. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah. And when he was doing this, well, it would have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Order! Order! I will have order! Witness. Can you refute this claim? Humph. Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen at hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there is a reason, it's unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? Of course I can't prove it. Nick, no. Saying you can't prove it now would be admitting defeat. She'll get away. But what proof could I possibly have? I don't care if it's impossible. You'll still have to fight this one. Okay. I have proof, and I'll show it to you. I present to the court the evidence that Miss Vasquez motive the murder. Okay, she had a motive. 5-year-old photo. This is my proof. This is the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in the murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help,